Rock Talk.
Okay. Still having fun with the audio
I
on the remote.
I gotta get back into the swing of doing two things at the same time. It's been a while, so give me a break.
Yeah, normally you just have to click on the mouse and watch me do all the work.
Well, that's okay.
I know, that's fine. I have no problem with that.
No, we need. Oh, the poor little squirter.
The squirrel has dubbed.
Okay, let's not go any further with that Joe Biden impression.
Okay. So, hey, Greg Moore's here.
He is.
He is.
Good morning.
Talk to the camera.
Good morning. Hello, camera. How are you today?
Oh, it just sits there.
It's happy to
Watching
see
the
you.
squirrel.
Maybe we should put a little wig on it or something. And
Wouldn't that be fun?
that would be fun.
Like from Monsters, Inc.
Right.
Was it Wazowski?
Yeah, Mike
Yeah.
Wazowski.
Mike Wazowski.
Yeah, so we are Grok Talk, a production of GraniteGrok.com, New Hampshire's
Wazowski,
leading
you
conservative.
forgot to turn in your paperwork again.
So anyway,
He's
fans
like
of the
the
movie.
campaign manager for David Booton,
Humana here.
former executive counselor Wazowski. What was his
Wazowski.
name? Warsworth, or they named an exit after him.
Resort.
Wazoric.
And you can
Resort.
dodge the toll by taking that exit. Is that
That's
perfect?
perfect.
Sorry.
As I was saying, Grok Talk,
Actually,
production
it's
of.
actually the exit I get off to go home.
Well, there you go.
I've lost control again.
Squirrel.
This is a
squirrel,
presumption.
squirrel.
There's a presumption that you.
He's been waiting for months to do that to
there
us.
is- First of all, there's some presumption that you had any control to begin with, and I think we need to address that. And that's how it is. Anyway, Greg has joined us.
We're talking about control.
Okay, don't worry. I'll get you the other
You've been cut off.
51
You've
weeks.
been
The
cut
other
off.
51 weeks of the year. Watch out, Mister.
I own that board,
You do.
sir.
I know you do. I know you do.
I can also
Fine.
reach that board, sir.
I paid for this board, Mr.
That's
Green.
right.
I did,
Right.
literally.
So we're at Liberty Forum,
Yes.
and Greg has joined us.
Greg Moore of
You know
Americans for
what?
Prosperity, New Hampshire.
Absolutely. I found it interesting because just yesterday, one of the other groups who has a different viewpoint from us in terms of New Hampshire put out a press release, a group called Grand Estate Progress. And you guys might might know.
Xandra Rice Krispies.
And it came out attacking us, Liberty Forum, and of course because we're working with here at Liberty Forum, we have a booth. And I'll tell you this much, from my perspective, I think it's a very interesting dynamic because Liberty Forum exists exclusively for the purposes of attempting to bring people into New Hampshire. Liberty Forum is here to get people to move to New Hampshire, and that's a very different thing from Grand Estate Progress, which is promoting policies that get people to move out of New Hampshire. So it's sort of like an interesting sort of dichotomy between the dynamics there.
Well, they don't necessarily want people to move out so much as they want to control the people who are here.
Well, that has the effect of
And-
causing people to leave, go to Texas and North Carolina. Oh,
Well,
except
there-
for you. You came the other way.
Well, I chose to come here for lots of reasons, but I still have my Texas passport.
Okay.
Texas.
Well, remember, it was Cynthia Chase, New Hampshire State Representative Cynthia Chase,
Right.
Democrat, transplant from
Rhode Island.
Rhode
Rhode
Island,
Island.
who said that we must take freedom away so that the Free Staters won't come here. And, you think of that, and you think of the ramifications. So she wants to penalize all New Hampshire residents now and use that to erect a wall around the state. Now that this progressive has come in, it's like, Hannah locked the door. Well, that's too freaking bad. And I am so glad that the Free State is coming in. Now, I don't agree with them on quite a few issues that are important to me, but that's okay.
That's okay. If you walk around here today, one of the things you learned is not many people agree on everything here at the Liberty Forum. I mean, it's a very organic in that there are some baseline set of principles that a lot of these folks share. A lot of them are issues that have to do with free markets, which is why Americans for Prosperity Foundation is here sponsoring a table. But once you get outside of those basic free market principles, you're not going to get much agreement on this group on a whole host of issues. And I think that's a good thing. The fact that they're able to constructively disagree on so many issues and do it in a way that actually advances the dialogue.
And they will advance the dialogue. They want the dialogue.
Absolutely.
They love to have the discussion versus people like Xandra Rice Hawkins and a lot of other progressives who want to silence the opposition. And that's one of the reasons why I've been here almost 30 years now. Oh, gosh, 30 years. But that's, touching the gray hair here, which is off camera. Thank you very much. I need a haircut.
I've been here 25.
Yeah. But that's, I fell in love after I moved here with the whole ethos of live free or die. And that's why we do what we do. Because we want more freedoms. We want not government deciding for you, like with the tanning beds or Mr. Pierce with his what has to appear on the paper for a job application, or a whole range of stupid things. We make the decisions. It also means that we have to live with the consequences of those decisions, which is what the progressives say. Well, that's a bad outcome, so we have to take that away from you because we can't let you hurt yourself.
But they like to define and impose the consequences.
Oh, that's true.
Okay,
That's
don't
true.
forget that. They live for consequences.
Yeah, they wish to impose only a certain kind of morality upon us. But anyways.
But I think it's also important, particularly here when we're sitting in Liberty Forum, is to consider that it's funny, when I talk to a lot of the folks, the attendees, a lot of them aren't from New Hampshire.
Correct.
And I think this is remarkable, is that I think that they said more than half aren't from New Hampshire and are people who are considering coming to New Hampshire. And it's interesting because in our ad we put in the brochure here at Liberty Forum, we actually used the full quote by John Stark, and a lot of the attendees love the full quote, which is, it's not just live free or die, which we see on our license plates. It's live free or die, for death is not the worst of all evils.
Indeed.
And I think that's really encapsulate the ethos of the Free State Project right there, is the fact that, you know what, there are things worth fighting for, and it's not just a bumper sticker, it's not just a license plate, it's a way of life, and they want to bring it and restore it here to New Hampshire. Why would we not want to have those folks here in New Hampshire, embrace them and invite them to come here and work and fight to expand freedom?
Because it upsets the progressive apple cart,
Well,
just
I
like we upset
understand
the
that. I
establishment
understand that,
Republican one.
But I mean, I'm reading this ultra extreme, and it's like if you talk to these people, you're right. This extreme idea that people should have control over their own lives, it's crazy.
Have you ever seen such delightful and happy children toddling around, though? Everybody's got these darling little curly-haired babes, and they're wandering around, and they're talking to people, and it's just a lovely atmosphere. Most of these folks are young.
Yeah, and dogs too.
And in case you notice, every kid above the age of about 11 or 12 is selling something, promoting capitalism.
Absolutely.
Right from an
Want to buy a
early age.
pin? Want to buy a shirt? Want to buy a cookie? Absolutely. They're out earning a living. I think it's great.
Cookies?
Cookies.
Oh, I got to get out of here.
Yeah. We saw ice cream yesterday.
Apparently the kids haven't found their way into the media room for you guys, or else two things would be happening. You guys wouldn't be on the show because you'd be eating, and number two, they'd have a lot more money in their pocket.
That they would.
I got green squares of cloth.
Rectangles.
You'll trade for cookies?
I'll trade for cookies.
Yep.
Value for value. Actually, more value for more value, because that really is the essence of capitalism.
Absolutely.
If you have something to offer me, you're valuing my money more than I am, and I'm valuing what you have, be it something I can hold in my hands or some other service, more than what I've got in my pocket. That is the essence of capitalism. And this is what they're trying to destroy, that whole notion. So every time this topic comes up, and I know I'm getting recorded, I'm going to say, that's capitalism, folks.
Yep.
I'm not forced to buy something.
Yes, you are.
Well, that's not capitalism.
I understand that.
You're forced to buy a lot of government.
That is true. Or a lot of things now that government is telling me I have to, it's good for you. Now we're back to David Pierce again.
And the funny thing is, I've known David for a number of years when he first got elected to the House. And he's a very nice man. He's got 2 little girls. He's a good dad. He's from Texas.
Is that good or bad?
Well, those of us who grew up or were born in Texas of parents who were serious about Texas, we always tended to, and I probably still do, and I'm sure it shows many, many times, we were raised to feel sorry for people who weren't Texans.
And trust me, this happened just yesterday with Susan telling me she felt sorry for me about having white chicken chili.
White chicken chili. There is no such thing as white chicken chili. There's white chicken soup. There's white chicken fondue, maybe. There's white chicken
And she said,
sandwich
Okay,
spread.
I have a
She
couple
said-
cans of
she
that
said-
stuff at home I
she
have to
said me-
try.
She said, I'm not angry at you. I feel bad for you.
I do. And I can't. I mean, he just doesn't know any better. And when you were raised in Texas, when you're raised, and I think that there are a lot of liberals and progressives and people who eat white chicken chili that just don't know any better.
Liberal,
So,
progressive, anti.
Susan?
and I want to educate folks, and I want to expose them to things that are real and that are proper.
Like
If
real
you
chili.
haven't been exposed, I can't say that you're bad. If you know better, which I kind of think you do, but I'm willing to give you the benefit of the doubt. If you don't know any better, I will show you real chili.
It's
And you'll
fun-
go, what is this white chicken crap?
Susan,
Yes?
you know I like chili. You know that the chili I bring to your house is hotter than what most of the people who come can eat.
And you don't put beans in it.
I don't. I don't like beans in my chili.
There's no such thing as chili with beans.
Well,
There's chili.
this is chili for hot dog rolls. That's why I make my chili, and it's hot. But I have a couple of those cans I think that you're referring to of white chicken
He
chili.
made it from. He did it deliberately. He didn't just open a can, for God's sake.
Premeditated.
He
and
looked at a
everything.
recipe.
Oh,
Now
that's
that's a whole different thing, Skip.
That's even worse,
Okay.
huh? I guess, but it's funny because we had.
Is that a lack of intelligent design? Is that?
We actually brought one of our trainers who was in yesterday, Anita Moncrief, who came up from Houston.
Wow.
And
Boy, did
we
she
have
rattle.
we have interviewed her before at Right Online.
And
Extraordinary woman.
She's an extraordinary woman. She was the Acorn whistleblower, and she does a fantastic job of explaining exactly what the tactics of the left are and how they bring folks in. She had a
They don't
of
do it
course.
with white chicken chili. I can tell you that.
apparently not. But
Even a liberal wouldn't fall for that.
I'm saying there's a real Texas flavor, and apparently that flavor is not white chicken chili. That's Liberty Forum 2015.
I'm never going to let that go, Greg.
Clearly, I've learned my lesson.
No.
But no,
more
I-
white
Otherwise, that's your good kid.
chicken
Yeah,
chili.
I think that the interaction and the amount of ideas that I've heard, the new ideas and the new concepts, seeing how many legislators are here today, learning about what's going on across the rest of the country. I started to take this in such a serious direction, but why
With
people-
us?
why people would actually want to attack this? I mean, I would tell the folks like at Granite State Progress, why don't you actually try coming to Liberty Forum before you start attacking
Yeah.
and actually see what you're talking about?
Because they can't be, they will not put themselves into a place where they might actually have to change their worldview. They are only happy. Here's the essence of the problem. We who are liberty-minded believe that we should be in control of ourselves. Everything is internalized. Yes, we express it in our works and in our deeds, but our essence is internalized. Progressives, on the other hand, don't believe in internal governorship. They want to say, here's what you can do, and oftentimes present a a libertine type of personal behavior, but all governance has to be external. And the typical, or the best example of that was Al Gore when he was running for president, when he went to that Hindu temple and got gobs of money from monks that had taken a vow of poverty. He said there was no governing authority to prevent me from doing this. In other
no
words,
controlling legal authority.
thank you. I always say that wrong, but in essence,
Mistakes were made.
no.
Passive
Let-
voice.
let-
Passive voice. Mistakes were made.
No, we go back to the no legal governing, controlling authority. If the bars of external laws are not there, then everything is permissible. And that's where you see all of these laws coming up to control everything, because they don't believe we are capable of controlling ourselves,
That-
which is the essence of freedom.
Then I'm going to have to apologize to you.
About the white chicken chili?
If you want to make white chicken chili, okay,
I am free to do so.
you are.
Free to choose.
But it's not
Now-
chili.
But understand that you're doing it in opposition to the preponderance of evidence. It says if you go back to Texas that somebody won't kick your ass. So make your chili. I'm not going to judge you.
It's a good thing when I was in Dallas last
Greg?
August, I didn't mention
Yeah,
this.
tell him
Greg,
about this.
you're not going to have to go to Texas. It's the ass kicking's right there.
It's been 2 days of it.
And perhaps it's my fondness for tradition and things that make sense and time-tested standards that make me oppose white chicken chili. But you should be free to make it.
I got a blessing
So-
for Susan. I can now
Steve-
continue to make white chicken
Steve's
chili.
been taking lots of notes. I can't wait to see the write-up of this segment.
It's the white chicken chili segment. What are you talking about? Oh, and there is some mention of this thing called Liberty Farm.
Indeed. Well, you ought to be able to have white chicken chili at Liberty
right.
Farm.
There it is.
Exactly.
Maybe an idea for next year.
There you go.
Over
So-
Tex-Mex rice.
And I mean, we've had Vermin Supreme here. We've had a number of important dignitaries here, but as I mentioned, to me the really exciting part aren't some of the more well-known folks. It really are people who've shown up for the first Liberty Forum, coming from places like Connecticut, coming from places as far as California. I've heard people who've come from
Young
West
woman,
California.
yeah.
And I've spoken to people from all across this country who said, I don't know what caused me to come here. I don't know what the one thing was, but I just felt like I needed change. And when you start to get to an environment where people are in places where, even some places where aren't as bad as Connecticut or California, and you start to hear people coming from states that aren't that bad say, I want to come to New Hampshire because I think there's a chance to reclaim liberty here in New Hampshire. I got to tell you, it's an inspiring message.
Yeah. Screw D.C., save New Hampshire.
That's my motto.
Yeah.
So,
That's my motto.
So yeah,
Well,
I mean,
this
but
is-
I,
this
but
is-
I mean, it's interesting. I mean, which is not to say that there's the reservoir of good ideas exists exclusively in Hampshire. I mean, this past week, two things happened in that sort of in the Senate deadlock 12-12 on right to work, in New Hampshire, but the state of Wisconsin just passed right to work.
Yeah.
And through their House yesterday, and Governor Walker says he's going to sign it on Monday. So I mean,
12-12. I have to ask the question.
You know who it was.
Did Senator Stiles vote against right to work?
no,
Carson did.
No,
She did not.
She did not?
Carson
She
and
supported-
Seriously?
Yes.
Carson and Bradley, was it?
Carson and Booten voted against
Carson
it.
and
Two
Booten.
Republicans who voted. But they've, I mean,
Oh.
to be fair, they have consistently voted against right to work.
They
They
have.
have never voted for right to
That's
work.
true.
So that doesn't mean that
I'm
we
not-
still
I'm
can't
just
go after
saying-
them.
I'm just-
I suspect Senator Stiles has been given cover
Oh.
on a 12-12. She wasn't forced to vote against it. Okay?
And
For lots of reasons,
Sen-
and we all understand that
Senator
people get
Stiles,
votes for cover.
Senator Stiles actually voted, has consistently voted for right to work for a number of years. So I
Well, there you
Okay,
go.
then I'm
It just
thinking
goes
of the
to show
wrong
that-
issue.
That people are not necessarily as granular as you might think.
Oh yeah, they are.
So, but
Yeah,
I think that
sure.
it's just a point is that here in Wisconsin, a state like Wisconsin, a state that's considered a blue state, just passed right to work, and they're going to be the 25th state to become a right to work state, following a state like Michigan, which was 24.
I know, Michigan.
So if Michigan and Wisconsin could pass right to work, what are we waiting
You know,
for?
I would be
Wow.
happy just to be able to say the state is no longer going to collect your dues out of your paycheck. Let the unions take it yourself. And I'd be happy
paycheck-
with just that.
Paycheck protection and right to work, the two of them together, obviously.
Well, just like what we have seen in Wisconsin, that if the unions have to go and tell their members to fork it over, most of those members are going, I ain't forking it over anymore. And that comes back to what I said about the consumer marketplace. If you are not giving me good value for my money, again, going back to the most individual level of capitalism, if you are not providing good value for the money you want from me, I don't have to give you give you my money. There.
Well, to my mind, there's a distinction that needs to be drawn between private sector unions and public sector unions. Okay? A private sector union, whether it's, I don't know, IBEW, bunch of folks out on utility lines, you are not, a company is not necessarily compelled to engage a union electrical group. Now, however, if you want to work for the state of New Hampshire, which is working for taxpayers and working for the people whose pockets are picked for that tax money, The New Hampshire state government is a closed shop. You are required to sign a voluntary payroll deduction form that says, either I will join the union.
Wait a minute.
Or I will-
Compelled to voluntarily?
That's what it says. That's what it's called. I'll post it up on. I've done it
It's
before.
called fair share.
You
That's the
either
euphemism.
join
Fair
the
share.
union or you pay the fee.
And I
you
see that
cannot-
Mr. Words Have Meanings is sitting in the
Exactly. I'm going to turn
Smirking,
his head
because he's right.
in the batting circle.
But understand that one of the things I think that you'll find here at Liberty Forum that's an interesting discussion is that private sector unions are contractually based.
Yes.
And you enter into contracts freely for the most part, right? But if you are a state government and I can't go to work for the Department of Fish and Game and become a fish cop without joining the union, then I am the state of New Hampshire's government is not pro-choice.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I'm
at
going to give
least,
this to
at
to
least
Ian.
with the unions, the private sector unions, they have the ability to, take away our Hostess Twinkies when their demands become too much. But that's a self-correcting thing because we now have Twinkies again.
Well,
Not that
Congress-
I'm allowed to have
thankfully-
them anymore.
Well,
That is
thankfully,
We
thankfully.
put the camera on the Twinkies, please.
That's right.
there's 50 pounds less of Twinkies.
I know you
And ice cream and
Awesome.
brownies. I've almost given up chocolate chip cookies. Although, where are those little kids with the cookies?
I think
I'm
cutting
going
back
to,
on the one or two actual sugar-sweetened Mountain Dew Zoo will help a little too.
it's also saying willpower.
Well, yeah.
My voluntary. Was it voluntary?
No, your stomach told you. Your stomach said, "Stop drinking that crap."
Yeah, the Mountain Dew. Yeah. We're back to the water again.
Your body is, which is
How
just
do you-
Mountain
how do
Dew
you-
without
how
all
do
the
you-
other stuff
How do you
in
stay
it.
awake?
Huh?
How do you stay awake?
Willpower.
Okay.
Willpower, and I get mad at some of our politicians. That's all I need.
Get you wound up.
Oh, yes, it does. And we are now joined by Ian Underwood, the guy who makes my head hurt all the time. Greg, I want to say thank you very much for stopping in. Have fun. I'm going to get out of here at some point so I can go walk around.
Rock